It's under 95 grams of pound.
All right. Welcome to Zero Credibility. It's your boy Peter, joined with Justin today. It's just us two now.
This is the second time we're recording this, by the way.
Yeah, okay, I know.
Because for once, not tech issues, but
okay.
I think brain issues.
Thanks for the exposing.
Hey,
anyway,
you don't know who had the brain issues, man. Could be me.
Yeah, I think now it's very obvious, but okay.
But you expose yourself, man. You expose yourself.
Okay, anyways. Okay, we're going to start off with the Nipsey Hussle topic. So rest in peace, Nipsey. So for those who don't know, Nipsey Hussle is a Compton rapper that, oh my God, Compton rapper. He's not from Compton, sorry. He's from, where the fuck is he from again?
You can tell Peter's a big fan.
No, he's from the hood. I didn't say I was a big fan. All right. But basically, it seems from the news that he seemed to have made a big impact in the culture, so-called culture. So basically, he was shot down recently in front of his own hood. Crenshaw, that's where it's from. I've been reading it the whole time and it just escaped.
Where's Crenshaw?
In LA?
I mean, I don't. It's a genuine question. I don't know.
It's in LA. It's in Los Angeles. I thought it was like you're testing me, but it actually is in LA. And you made me doubt.
I actually don't know. I actually want to know.
So it's in LA. And basically, so Nipsey Hussle, the reason why he's famous is not really so much his music. I mean, in terms of, he underground-wise, he is popular. But basically, he was more popular for his activism within his own community. He's well known in the rap world for the rapper that kind of whatever money he made, he reinvested to his own community. So what he would do is like where he came from in Crenshaw, he would buy up like blocks. He would buy up the like strip shops around Crenshaw, and he would open black businesses to support his local community, and that's why he was well known and well respected for. So he's so well respected that he was well known for dropping $100 mixtape, which was unknown because mixtapes are usually given out free in the hip hop world. So when he dropped these $100 mixtapes, Jay-Z bought 100 of them. So in support of Nipsey, and he's like well respected by all these rappers around the world. You can see around the news that once he died, everyone from Kendrick Lamar to people from the NBA started, to celebrate his life. So the reason why I want to bring up this topic is to kind of explore, gang culture and like snitching and how it relates to maybe like bromance and stuff like that. So I think it's best to explain what kind of have happened. So this is an uncorroborated report, right? This is from like I've been digging through like the streets to like find out this information. But
yeah, on the streets of Crenshaw, Peter's been. You've been digging through, have you?
Yeah, I've been digging through like DJ. No, I actually haven't.
Hitting up your contacts.
No, I've been hitting. I called up, I linked up DJ Ack, and give me the lowdown.
Yeah. I mean, he needs someone to like talk about now that his boy 6ix9ine is irrelevant.
Yeah. Like so, yeah. He had to. I have to make sure I got like all the the nods of approval to talk about this. To make sure I respect my elders and all my other my other gangs and stuff and so on. But so from what I've like gathered is basically this guy Eric Holder. The incident happened when this guy Eric Holder walked by Nipsey Hussle's store. I don't know whether he was looking for a job, but Nipsey Hussle basically went to say, "Hey, you can't be out so early. What do you do? Snitch on him? Come back." I think he was trying to look for a job in one of Nipsey Hussle's businesses because they know each other. They know of each other. Both of them know each other.
What will he be snitching about? I don't understand that part. Like, what will he be?
No. So this is Nipsey Hussle is joking because Eric Holder just came out of jail. So Eric Holder went by, I think, asked for a job from Nipsey, and Nipsey was like, "Nah, man, you can't talk to me because why are you out so early? Do you snitch? Come back with your papers." When you mean come back with your papers, is like he's trying to like he needs evidence that he came out of jail for not snitching, for not like telling, or like, because like in gang culture, they're super anti-snitching, which is what I want to get into for the next topic. Anyways, so he went away and he came back with a gun and shot Nipsey. And that was a story. I mean, this is not like confirmed. This was like a story from the circles, the podcast circles of people who knew Nipsey. So they're saying this is what.
So isn't that snitching in its own right?
Yeah, it is kinda. Yeah, it is. But so this is what I want to kind of like talk about. Like I wanted to talk about, what do you think of this like no snitch culture in gang culture?
I mean,
what do you?
I don't know. I feel like I'm not the right guy to talk about it.
Okay. Let's say it like this. Like, it's not about in gang culture. Let's just talk about snitching in general. So if you see, like, for example, okay, this is what happened recently, actually, in my life, right? So my neighbor, like, I think he and his wife just recently divorced. So one night when I went back last year, I'm not even kidding, I got like, someone was ringing the doorbell at like 2:00 in the morning, and the husband was really drunk, and like they were like fighting or something, and he kicked the wife and the kid out of the house. They had to stay over at my house. So I didn't know whether I should like call the police or anything, or like get involved. But do you know, like in Asian culture, it's usually like, I can imagine people. I know people who would have not answered the doorbell, and it's like, oh, this is other people's problem. You don't want to don't get involved in it. That kind of thing.
Yeah, don't get involved. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very like protect yourself from all these things. So
look out for number one. Don't get involved.
Yeah, look out for number one. But like no snitching is more than that. Obviously, that's one component of why you don't snitch, because you don't want to get involved. And there's another component where it's like, I think in gang culture, from listening to a lot of people talk about, it's like, why should we tell the feds anything? They're our enemies as well, like no snitching. Yeah. So don't tell the cops shit, they're pigs, like. So I don't know, man. Like I feel like what if the cops came to you and asked for information, would you say you didn't see anything? If someone got shot in front of you and you know who the killer is. I mean,
I think it's a bit different though, because like it's so. All right. Again, I'm just gonna put a disclaimer out there that I don't think I'm the best person to talk about this, but I think this whole like no snitching culture comes about from especially in gang culture, and especially in Black America. It comes about because, like you said, they see the police as being the enemy, and it's the common enemy, right, amongst their community. Yeah. And I think the other thing as well is also that there's this idea that, these Black communities or these gang communities are generally quite small and everyone knows each other. So if someone wrongs someone, I think there's this idea that, justice will serve itself within the community. Like there's no need to involve the police or a common enemy, right? In order to resolve the issue will be resolved within, No, but I also know a lot community. It's the same with like the gang culture in Australia, like the bikie culture in Australia, or like the like the Tony Mockbell and all that sort of stuff, right? It's like we don't need to involve the cops. Like the cops are going to make things more difficult for us, Like we'll solve the issue by ourselves.
We just shoot out the gangs when they're in Doherty's or something.
I mean, or whatever, because like I said, like within these communities, they're quite small. Everyone knows everyone, right? So, or if you don't know them directly, like someone who knows that person or whatever. Yeah. So, there's no need for like a grand investigation or that sort of a formal investigation or that sort of thing. So I think it stems a lot from that.
Yeah, I mean, that's I think what tailors specifically to the Black community in America. And I think this is where like I also have to distance, like step outside and say, you know what, like I'm not from there. I don't know the exact nuance of this, and I can't really talk about that. I don't think I can really contribute anything in that regard. But there are definitely incidences throughout my life where I've seen a crime where I could actually call the cops, but I didn't. This is when I was a bit younger. I think surely there were incidents where like you could have reported a crime, but you didn't because you go like, I don't want to involve myself in this, right?
I mean, I think it depends on the extent of the crime and what it is you saw, right? I think if like,
Yeah.
you know, you're walking on the street. If I was walking in the street and I saw like, you know, someone pulled a gun and shot someone, like I was standing right there, right? Like,
Bro, he
I
was
would be more.
shoot you too. I think he would shoot you too if you're like point blank.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
Like,
That's a good point.
I could even imagine what you say. You'd be like, I have Asian eyes. I can't see shit.
I didn't see shit, man. I didn't see shit.
Yeah, like that's no. Okay,
I think you'd be more inclined to call the cops like then, right? But if it's something like, I saw this guy. You know, I saw this guy when he went to like Woolworths. You know, he scanned his fish as like apples or something. But I'm not gonna call the cops for that. You know what I mean?
True. No, I understand that. Yeah, the extent of crime as well. But for me, like, this is very vivid. So after a concert, I remember after going to the concert, we went out. So this late at night, after going out, we were walking out of, it was a club in the CBD, and we were all about to, like, you know, walk home. And then we saw this guy beating up on some other guy, and this guy's face was like beaten up to a pulp. So, like, I think this is where, like, okay, this story, I'll give you the full story. So after that happened, we realized what has happened, because there was a girl asking this big Lebanese man to stop. And turns out the story was, we kind of like, when we were there, the guy walked away, and the guy who was beaten up basically told us the guy was beating up on his girlfriend, and he tried to stop him. But then this guy started beating up on this like Asian guy. So after that, he he was trying to look for the other guy, and then this is where I obviously separate myself. Like, yo, I don't want to be part of this, and this is where I walked back. And I didn't know whether I should have called the cops instead, you know, to prevent an incident, or just walk home. You know,
I don't think you have prevented anything. Like,
yeah, but
you were there after the fact, right?
Yeah. So like after that was the part.
But I assume the other people that saw this as well. It wasn't just you, because it was opposite Miss Collins. I assume it happened in a public place.
No, it happened opposite Miss Collins, and like
so
obviously
it happened in a public place, right?
Yeah,
so it wasn't just you. So, like, you know, like stuff like that. You know, like I've seen as well. Like, you know, walking the street at night, and like I think the most recent one was a few months back, and I saw a guy. Like I don't really know the full story. I was just walking, and then I saw. I mean, obviously, there was these two groups of people having a confrontation, you know, and then one guy punched the other guy.
Oh shit!
And then they ran away, and the guy, like, it was a sucker punch, and the guy like fully like fell to the ground. It's all like it's kind of comical in the way, like the way he fell to the ground. But yeah, like it was very public, so I didn't at no point I think, oh, I should call the cops. Like it
will handle itself.
Yeah, like it was also so he has his friends taking care of him and all that sort of stuff. You know, the incident was over by that point. So yeah, I can say like I never thought of calling the cops at that point. And I can say I've never called the cops before.
I actually have never called the cops before. So like, yeah. So that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, how far, like, to what extent will you then, like, you know, start calling the cops?
I mean, I think it was pretty. It was something like let's say like if it's like you and your friend walking around at night and you get robbed, right? Just like petty crime, right? Like you know, the guy steals your wallet and your watch or whatever. Then I call the cops.
Yeah, true. One of my friend Bernard got robbed before. He was like walking home from somewhere and he got robbed. And then after that, he called the cops. We went over. This happened the same night where we saw the fight as well, by the way. We went over and then, we went over to, make sure everything was all right. So like, and that was the first incident ever I've ever talked to a cop in Australia. So I think this is like a people should like, I don't know, when did the cops ever come in, right? Like that kind of thing. It's quite rare.
Yeah, it's quite rare, and I think like there's also because there's
in our like walk of life, specifically.
but it's because I think that also there's like I think a lot of times is like, especially if the incident is very public, you feel like, oh, someone else will call the cops.
Yeah,
like, I don't need to do it, and then
yeah, but I mean, like that the other person's probably thinking like that as well.
yeah.
Me-
But then
for me,
also I
I
think
think
like there's
the
a lot of
Asians-
times there's things which happen which is just like whether consciously or subconsciously it becomes like, well, I don't really think the cops will do anything. Like for example, like that guy that got punched, right, and then the group just walked away, right, and then like he was being helped out by his friends. It's like, what can the cops, like, is it, like, is it that big a deal? Like, what can the cops really do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. It's already done. Like.
Yeah, it's done. It's over. The situation is over, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I think the next time I'll just do it. If I see something, I'll just like try to take photo and call the cops. Apparently, like in China, right? There's this like social rating thing, and I realized that, like, it's actually happening around the world. A lot of like citizens are getting involved in like law enforcement. They're trying to do it. Law enforcement. There was like a Vice video. I mean, this is not violence of any sort. Apparently, like trucks, if they stay idle for more than 3 minutes, you can, if you can give evidence of that, like you take a video of that and you send it into the cops, the people get fined. So like people are like making money off this. So like they should maybe incentivize people to like, what's the sound?
that's just the sound effect that you're putting in post editing.
No. One of my software kicked in. Anyways, I'll cut that bit out. But yeah, like, so I don't know. I think.
Oh wait, hold on. So you're saying what in America, if someone is standing around for 3 minutes, you can take a video of them, send it to someone, I don't know who, and get paid?
If your truck is turned on, idle, staying idle in the lane, you could like, because they passed a law. I think in New York, they passed a law in New York because they admit it's one of those environmental laws where if you're staying idle, you should turn off your car. You should turn off your car. If you leave it on for 3 minutes, staying idle, you get fined. And there are these people that enforces the law. That I think if you watch it, you'd be like, oh, these fucking people have nothing better to do with their lives, kind of thing. But I mean, these guys are all like, these environmental warriors and kind of.
I think that's very, very different from.
I know.
The social credit system that is being trialed in China at the moment. I think that's very different.
That's on a different scale. But I mean, like, what if like we had that system where like if we report violence, like we get incentivized to report violence? Do you think there'll be like people will be more inclined to kind of do it? Because the way I look at it is like this: I think if there's a fight that's going to happen in front of me and you, I know like me and you would be like, let's just leave it to the white people to do it.
I'm not gonna do shit. Yeah,
you're not gonna lie, right? You're not gonna lie. It's like every time when I look at these incidents, I feel like, hopefully there's some white person here who could go and like call the cops.
No, but the reality is, even if like for incidents such as that, right? Like unless it's like very, very serious, right? Like someone gets killed or something, right? Like, or like someone gets like like it's a super serious injury or something like that, right? Like the guy's like get beaten up to an inch of his life or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like I think most of the time the cops themselves don't do much. Like they don't. I've definitely heard of instances where people were like, yeah, I call the cops, and it's like it's as though they didn't even care, right? So it's like,
okay, what someone punches you in the face, just punch you in the street.
I don't think I would call the cops. But what can they do? What do you want to do?
Don't you want like retribution of any sort?
I mean, at what? You want to sue the guy or?
Yeah, dude, why not? Like he just punched you in the face, like, he committed harm to you. He assaulted you.
I mean, it's not. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how much you can get out of it. Like, I mean, like I said, if someone like punches me and then like I die, then okay, maybe. Or someone punches me and then I end up in like, like permanent brain damage or something. Yeah, then maybe. Like, but if someone just punches me and then it's just like by and large I'm fine. It's like I don't think you go through the hassle. Like, it's a hassle.
So, what if I was like next to you and someone punched you and I managed to get a photo of his face? What would you do to evidence? It's fine.
I mean, it depends, man. Like, it's so hard to. I think it's so situation specific. I think. Like,
okay, fine.
I
No,
think
it's just,
honestly, I think my inclination would be not to. It's just like, yeah, whatever. Like,
okay.
you know, but like I said, it depends on, like, you know, how did the incident come about? You know, was it a random attack? You know, was it like, what's the consequence to me? Like, in terms of like, okay, I get punched. What did I just fall down, or did I, you know, have to go to hospital or something? Like, it depends on so many things, I think.
Okay, yeah. Let's not get into this. This is like too, yeah, like you said, like too scenario specific. All right, let's move back to Nipsey. So
No, but going back to your, like, you know, this woman that gets kicked out of a house in the middle of the night. What was she being, like, beaten?
I didn't see any marks, but like,
Okay, so she wasn't getting beat. She just got kicked out of the house because her husband's angry, right?
yeah, because they got divorced or something, and the kid wanted.
Yeah, okay, then that's, you know, I don't think I would call it cops in situation. But if a woman came to my house, like my neighbor knocked on my door, came to my house, and she was like bleeding and like whoa, and she just got beat or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, and he asked her, like, did you just get beat by your husband? And she says no. But I suspect she did. You know, I would probably, you know, like, not immediately, but maybe like a few days, a day or the next day or a few days later, I would probably, you know, just
Telephone,
maybe I would.
but like police.
I mean, just, you know, just leave like an anonymous tip, you know, like just say, all right, you know, I don't want to, whatever, don't identify me, or whatever.
It's called what do you call it? Is it Crime Watchers, Crime Stoppers? Was it the one in Australia? Crime Watchers, right?
I mean, that's different, but
Yeah, I know. You can dob him in, because they call it when he's like, "Oh, do you know any dealers within your community? You should dob in the dealer." They call it that. I was like, "Oh wow!" They make it sound so funny. They make it sound really cute. But okay, anyways, back to Nipsey.
I don't think that's what that is, but okay.
Yeah, but anyways, it's I think it's I actually haven't. I think it would be very interesting the next time. Like maybe if a serious incident happens and there's something like I could do, maybe like, you know, call cops. I want to know how I would react to it. I don't know. Who knows, man? Let's see what happens. Huh?
I think most people tend not to call the cops in general.
Yeah.
But I think that sort of stuff is very different from snitching, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
true,
snitching generally implies that you know the person, or there's some connection to that person.
Yeah.
You know, like,
it's like if your friend's dealing drugs, like, would you tell him? Like,
yeah, exactly, like stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Or like you know, if your friend, you know, he shot a guy and he told you, yo, I killed someone last night. Like,
yeah, bro.
You know, like,
you know what? You know, like, I think like if like, for me, if like someone told me that information, right? I don't know, man. I feel like I should tell, because like now he told me that information. Like, he kind of put that information on me. What if he changed his mind? What if the guy who tells you that information was like, fuck, I told him. What if he tells? I better kill him now. You know, that kind of thing. Have you ever thought about that?
I mean, so you just do it to protect yourself.
Yeah, you do it. Yeah, I'm just doing it to protect myself. Yeah, exactly.
But then what if he knows, like, oh shit, like, now the cops are on me, and there's only one person I told, and that was you.
Yeah, oh, dude, like, whatever. Like, it's like, dude, I did it in case you were gonna kill me, man. Like if you were my dog, you would understand.
I think at that point, it doesn't matter, man. I think at that point, you're gonna get killed, man.
No. But if I tell the cops, he'll be in jail. Oh, and the way I would do it is obviously.
No, but the cops are kind of questioning or some shit, and like they won't, like, unless they have like a smoking gun, they won't immediately put him in jail, right? So, so then,
no, I'll call the cops.
What the hell? Like, why did the cops kind of question me about this shit? Oh man, someone reported me.
I don't know, man. I'll call the cops and run away. Like, fly to another country for a while until he's in jail and the place is secured. Then I'll come back.
Or what if like they can't find evidence to arrest him?
Then
right?
I have to.
Like, you know that he killed this guy, but they can't find evidence to arrest him, so he remains free the whole time.
I have to live by the decisions I made.
No, then you're gonna get killed.
No, then I can tell my friend, yo, Don't worry, man. It's all good. That means you're not caught. The information you told me, it's voided then. It doesn't matter then.
I mean, okay, if you think that that's how that's gonna go, okay.
No, I think either way, like I think like if someone tells you, like basically what we're learning from this scenario is if you kill someone, please don't tell anyone, because like the person you're telling, you're kind of like putting them into like the worst position possible.
I think if you're gonna kill someone, or I think if you've killed someone, I think your consideration of other people's feelings is not that high.
Yeah, I know, but like if you do like there's a chance to mitigate like the amount of bad things that you've done, and you keep it to yourself. It's like, Justin, like if I kill someone, because you're my friend, I won't tell you, like I won't tell you because I don't want to, put the burden on you.
I mean, but what if it's like, let's say you're driving. Let's say you're driving, you hit a pedestrian, and you run away, right?
Yeah.
And then like,
what the fuck? Why? No, I would not tell you because. Like,
no. But then it's like, he seems okay. The person seems alive, right? So you drive away, you run away because you're scared, and then like a few days later, you learn like in the newspaper, oh, he died.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're like, shit, like and you're like, scot free. You're like, they didn't take your license plate, no one saw it, whatever.
Yeah.
You're free actually. But there's that guilt.
There's that guilt if you're
and
like,
it's super hard to like just keep something like that to yourself.
I have to share with someone.
Because you need to sort of like diffuse the.
No, you need to let it out. You need to like.
Yeah, you need to let it out, right? Because like,
I write it in a book, and I write about my guilt and sell it when I die. Like release it when I die.
And the book will be called "If I Hit That Person with My Car."
do it, OJ Simpson. No, if I were to do it. No, the book was called "If I Were to Do It." No, I don't know, man. Like I hope I will never have. I'll be never like I'm never put in that situation.
I mean, no one wants to be put in that situation.
Yeah, I know. Shit happens. Exactly. So I think I'll cross the bridge when I'm there. This is the type of situations where like, what? I'll just cross the bridge when I'm there. But all right, back to Nipsey. I think the second topic to talk about is like gang culture. Then, in terms of like gang culture in America, from my like research of the culture over the last few years, apparently like they always say gangs always started like within the black community. It's to kind of protect their own community because they felt like the cops were never going to help them. The councils were never supportive of these, the black communities. They never get funding, apparently, according to them. So that's why they started these gangs, and these gangs were, to support your inner community. And obviously, it got like permeated with like, drug dealers and gangbangers and so on. And so it's like, it's quite prevalent in rap, like, the hip hop culture today. So what like the next topic I want to talk about, like, do you think these, like, if you were a rapper, right, from like the hood of like fucking Chowkit or something in Malaysia, like after you get big, what's the likelihood of you like, going back to your community and putting money in it? Oh, let's just say this, like where you come from in Malaysia, like, actually, I think we're from well-off neighborhoods. They don't really need us. But let's just say Malaysia in general. Do you think in the future you'll go back, to do business in Malaysia?
I mean, I think those are two very, 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 very different scenarios. I think a lot of gangs exist, or gang culture exists. The primary reason is for survival. Like,
yep.
You want to talk about like black gangs in America, but there's gangs everywhere. There's the Vietnamese gangs here. There's the
Apex.
Yeah, there's like people like Apex, here as well. Like there's there's all sorts of gangs all over the world. I think primarily it comes about, because of survival and people are desperate, right? And then
I think Apex is more of like, it's just like, I think it's a community integration thing. That they feel like they're not part of the community. That's why they create this gang where there's like not gang. They create this like I don't like using the word gang because I'm not sure if they are a gang. Okay, maybe they are a gang. They are gangs actually. So, but it's just a community of their people kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good point. But I think a lot of it has to do with community integration. I think is one thing. A lot of them are youth, so they're bored. They do. They
don't need to rob, right? Think about it, that's Centrelink. Centrelink can feed them well enough. Like it's just that okay. I think what's a good topic is to explore gang culture. Like why do people why do they get absorbed, or why do they get attracted to this, like let's steal shit. It's quite, I mean, I don't know if you listen to hip hop music like deeply, but there's like a culture of like, yeah man, we got steal shit. It's cool stealing shit. That's why like in Australia, for example, Apex people love to steal like these like nice cars from other people, and like, so what makes them do, what motivates them to do this?
I mean, you can have theories, but I think.
What's your theory? Yeah, I know we can have theories.
I'm definitely not the person to talk about gang culture anywhere in the world. I don't feel confident talking about. I don't feel confident sort of like trying to pretend to be an authority on a topic which I don't know much about, and it's something that I'm very distant. Like my distance from it is very far.
We're just from a different life, like we
and
live
just because you listen to hip hop music does not mean I know anything about gang culture at all.
True.
I think that's so. If anyone thinks that, they are like deluding themselves.
No. But I'm just trying to see, like for example, in Australia, right? Like this is not like it's not like a old tradition which all the other gangs would do, right? It's kind of new. So I just want to know, like,
is it new? Do you know about the history of gangs in Australia?
No, but like, if there was a news article that I read that car stealing and another type of crime has been recently made a specific crime and committed in Melbourne. It's like a new, like, common crime. It never used to be a common crime according to the news article I read. So now they label it a specific crime which they have never done before, like carjack, like stealing cars and stuff. That's very new because I'm not saying it's a high occurrence. I don't know what the exact statistic, but I remember reading the article and I was like, whoa, so it's like quite new, and it occurred in either mid-2016 or mid-2017. It started becoming a common crime, and that's when the police started labeling the crime. I don't know, it might be politicizing it. I don't even know. I'm not even sure in that regard. But
I think even from your explanation, like, we don't know enough to talk about any of this, I think, honestly. Like, I mean, maybe what you say is true. Maybe it's like it's an uncommon crime, carjackings, and now it's become very common. That's why they've decided to add a category for it. But also maybe they've just decided to update the definitions for crimes in order to make crime reporting statistics more accurate, which is what happens, which is not uncommon.
Yeah.
So like, do you know? Can you speak with any sort of, how to say?
I can speak with confidence.
Conviction or certainty on it?
Like I can speak with confidence that there have been a lot of news that in the south, like Dandenong especially, that there like a high amount of car thefts.
I can speak with a lot of conviction as well. There's been a lot of news about plane crashes, but the number of plane crashes that happened in the past 15 years is the lowest than it's ever been, and it's going lower every year. But there's been a lot of news about plane crashes.
True.
I can say that for certainty.
Yeah, but so like I've just Googled it. Apparently, they're saying that Victoria is the car theft capital of Australia, with 40 cars being stolen every day.
Okay.
More than 40 every day. So
all right.
Yeah.
How about within context? Historically, what has it been?
I'm opening up the news article, and it's on the Herald Sun, and I don't think it'll load. But yeah, so like from reading the news, that's what they're trying to spin it as, that there's just been a lot of car crime. So I just wanted to try figure out whether where does this come from? Where does this? You probably read a few. It could be sensationalized news pieces where these young teens rob these cars, steal these cars, and take it off for a drive.
I think it's irresponsible to talk and give an opinion on a topic as though I think it's responsible for anyone to talk and give an opinion on a topic as though they are an authority. They are an authority if they don't know anything about the topic, and what they're going on is based on headlines. Like I'm not comfortable doing that.
Okay. Then let's move back to Nipsey. Then let's close it up with like his impact, and let's talk about how certain artists impact after death. Why is it the case that when a musician or artist dies, that's when they make most of their sales and stuff, and you gather like probably a whole swamp of new fans, new fake fans, and people will be like posting, oh, rest in peace Nipsey, I've been listening to you since day one, and day one was like today. What do you know why that happens?
I mean, I think partially it's because like people didn't know. I think it's probably an awareness thing, right? Like,
yeah,
like Nipsey Hussle. I've never heard of him until he died. So I think part of it is an awareness thing.
And yeah, I think a lot of people get some people get upset when people start like saying. I think I really don't like when people get upset. When they get upset at other people for like trying to say for clout and all this stuff. I mean, like, then again, it's like it is the world we live in, right? There will always be people who would do these things, and I don't think there's any need to get upset over it. I think it's more of like you just have to identify whether it's genuine or not when someone you're doing it.
Of course, but that's hard. That's hard, right? But
yeah, that's hard.
I mean, but I think there's also an element of if you really supported this guy, or you really thought this guy was great, like, why didn't you help him or contribute or talk about him when he was still alive, right?
True.
But then I think there's also the idea of like, people feel guilty, or not, maybe guilty is not the right word, but they feel the need to say something when someone is gone, that they previously maybe didn't feel the need to, or didn't feel the opportunity, or didn't feel an urgency to say it, because I don't know, like people's reaction to death is quite interesting. Like, everyone reacts in different ways.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, it's hard to say, and it's a very tricky topic.
Fair enough. I think let's close it up. Sorry, I added another thing. I just wanted to, bring up what Nipsey has done for his community, and I think it probably like inspired me a little in terms of to know where you come from, and if you can help people from where you come from, you should try to do it. If if it's in you, and if there are people who are less fortunate around you in your circle, you could help. I mean, that's what I feel inspired by from him, because that's what he has always done. He supported his his own community by bringing businesses in, giving them opportunities, and I think that's very inspiring. Rather than
I'm sure that's a great message to send after he's passed away and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what the reality of it is, but having said that, there's a lot of people doing that now who are still alive, who are actively doing it now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't sound like bitter or whatever, even though I know I do, but it's like No,
but I think it's a good send off. It's a good send off. I guess what you can learn from this guy who's probably not gonna who can't physically be here to teach. This is something you could learn from him. And there's obviously a lot of people who are still doing this. Maybe you all should, start, opening your eyes up a bit more and, respect give respect where respect is due, rather than, you wait till the end, till the person dies. This is for people.
But it's not going to happen though. Humans don't operate that way, I think.
But surely, people, the way I look at it now, this is a famous guy who lives in 500 degrees away from where I live. But there are obviously people around your circle who does this, who does, help the people around them. And then you could go, and maybe even every now and then you see him yo, the work you do is amazing, stuff like that. I think that means a lot. So for me, it's trying to recognize that, certain good, it's just simple good deeds you help when you help someone. I think that's very respectful in itself. I think, when someone dies, obviously you appreciate it more because it's gone, and it's like you said, it's an awareness thing. But now, every day you try to remind yourself when you can, that kind of thing, rather than always wait till someone dies, right? I know it's not going to be on 100%. You're not going to always be aware of all these little things, but obviously every now and then when you reflect on stuff, you think about these things, just then, this week, I don't think about it all the time, but I was talking to someone and I was talking about what my mom used to do when I was young, she, when she didn't have money, she would spend most of the money on us, on the children regardless. Then I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't think about this enough, but my mom spent a lot of time and effort, raising us. That every now and then it just pops in my head, and then when it pops in my head, I message my mom hey, how you been, kind of thing. So I'm not trying to preach that y'all should be thanking them every day. I'm just saying that sometimes it pops up in your head, and just appreciate it, kind of thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Anyways, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. Legit. I thought his album legit should have won Best Grammy, but let's not get into that. No, it's true. You can ask. I told you last year that I don't think Cardi B should have won based on my opinion, but this is my opinion, right? In the Peter Grammys, Nipsey Hussle would have won Best Rap Album. Okay.
It's big talk from someone who just listened to the album last week.
No, fuck off. Okay, please. Okay. Anyway. He did. Yeah, okay, fine. Let's move on. I don't want to get into this. Let's talk about Joaquin's Phoenix Joker. You put the topic in the file, and I was surprised because I thought you're not into superhero movies.
I'm honestly not that into that topic. It's just it was something that happened this week. That's it.
Fair enough. Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah, I did.
And were you I sent you the teaser, but I don't know whether you've seen the teaser. Did you see the teaser? The video where it's Joaquin Phoenix smiling and the camera slowly zooms in and eventually he turns into the Joker? Have you seen the teaser, the 30-second clip?
No, but I guess that must have been much earlier.
Yeah, a few months ago. So this is the first time you've seen how the new Joker will look like. So give you a quick background story into it. So when the teaser first released, it was quite polarizing because there were some fans that go what? This Joker looks so whack compared to all the other Jokers. Just just looking at it just aesthetically. So I think after the trailer came out, I think the news was quite positive. People were oh, this shit looks dark. This shit looks interesting. And when I saw a trailer, I was whoa, Joaquin Phoenix looks like he's going to put in a masterpiece of a performance. So what was your, I think obviously the first question to ask, after watching the trailer, for someone who's not really into superhero movies, are you going to watch it?
I'm not sure if I'll watch it, but I was quite surprised at the reaction from, the reaction is quite mixed because I thought the trailer looked quite interesting and looked quite good.
Yeah, I thought.
But from what I've seen online, it's the reaction is quite mixed. Yeah.
I know the first teaser, it was more negative than it was positive. But I think this trailer kind of, shed a bit more gain a bit more plus points with the fans. Because the first clip is you just see how the Joker kind of looks like, and everyone was like, "What this shit looks like?" Like it looks like a Pasar Malam version of like, it didn't look too like out there, It didn't look like Jared Leto.
Yeah, but that one's like just sort of whatever because the teaser. The teaser is meant to how to say. It's meant to generate conversation, right? And that's what they did, and that's all they care about. Whether it's good or bad conversation, it doesn't matter. It's a 30-second teaser.
So yeah, I think I don't know. I personally I think this like it made me more keen to watch it. Like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, they got Joaquin Phoenix, kind of cool. But when I saw how he would look like, I was like, you know what? I think this is a fresh direction that they're going in because they didn't try to go over the top. I
assume in the teaser they showed the makeup like before he transitioned to full Joker makeup, like it's the clown makeup.
No. It's his full Joker makeup. It is full Joker makeup. Like you have to watch the teaser. It's very it's like they're little like when they zoom into his face. This is a testament to like Joaquin Phoenix acting. So when it zooms into his face, he starts like smirking a little, like doing a little like subtle like subtly starts to smile. And then he changes into Joker, and I thought that was like, for me, it was like, wow, this looks like it's gonna be a real intense movie because from if you watch Joaquin Phoenix movies, he really gets into his role, and he loves to act these challenging roles. His most recent movie, You Will Never Really Hear, was a great film.
I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is one of those actors who, like, who wants to act. Put it that way.
He wants to do. Yeah, he wants to like.
He's not He's not the Owen Wilson. He's not like The Rock. He's an actor that wants to act.
Actually, no. I shouldn't take a shot at Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart tried to do the Untouchables, the English version with Bryan Cranston, which was like, he tried to do something serious, but it just didn't work out.
I'm not a fan of Kevin Hart, but yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, are you a Batman movie fan, or are you just like not a fan of any of these superhero movies at all?
I mean, I'm not really a fan of superhero movies because, like I said before, it's all very predictable, right?
Yeah.
Like it's very formulaic. It's very, the good guy wins in the end. The thing about this Joker movie that I think is compelling is that it's a background story. It is a story that is not, it's not a widely known story. It focuses on a villain. It's a bit, it's a bit darker. It's a bit more. It's not so campy, all that sort of stuff. So I think that's interesting. Yeah, but like I said, I've seen a lot of mixed reaction online, and I think how the negative reaction comes from people who are like, this is just gonna be another one of. Actually, the two main themes that I picked up on. One is that people are like, oh man, it's like this is a movie that no one needs, right? Like, like the argument is that in itself, it is also following its own formulaic sort of scenario, which is like, okay, now every movie has to be, this dark, serious, real life movie sort of thing. Yeah. Like every origin story has to be like that now. So that's one. And the other one is like a lot of people are very skeptical of Todd Phillips as a director. Yeah. Because he's a guy that directed The Hangover. And now this is a completely different tone, completely different sort of movie, completely different, from what he's used to. So,
which is good because it breaks the formulaic, trend. If you think about it, right? It finally you're adding something that's not, not something typical. The last movie Todd Phillips did was A Star's Born. He was a producer. Sorry, no. The last film he directed was War Dogs. And that was more from a more comedic type of film anyways. It was like, who was in it? It was
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill and what's that guy's name? Miles Teller. So Yeah, it was.
I don't know, it's a good movie. I like that movie.
Yeah, the movie was good.
It's a good movie. But I mean, I think it's just like the story. I think I think someone said, if you just want to, like, you want to make an origin story these days, you just get a character, just make some traumatic event, add a sex scene, and like there you have, like, there you go. So, I mean, I can sort of see the argument a bit,
Yeah, I think it would be a good movie. I think movie expectation wise, I think it's a creepy, interesting movie, and I think I don't think I've seen a bad Joker in. I don't think I've seen a bad Joker. I think the character is just it's been nailed in terms of who they cast over the last five. No, over the last.
Jared Leto Joker.
I liked the Jared Leto Joker. I thought he was great. I just thought he wasn't utilized well by.
I know a lot of people hated the Jared Leto Joker.
I thought he was great. I think Jared Leto is actually a really good actor. I think Jared Leto is a fantastic actor. Do you watch the movie, the one with Matthew McConaughey, where where it was about like them finally finding drugs for AIDS?
No.
That was a good movie. Jared Leto played a tranny. I mean, sorry, a transvestite.
Oh yeah. I can't remember what the movie's called.
Jared Leto.
Oscar. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And it was amazing. I'm just trying to remember what movie it was. It was the Dallas Buyers Club.
Yep.
That was a good movie. And Jared Leto's always been a fantastic actor. I just think I think he should do more acting, personally. He was in Blade Runner 2049, and I thought he was great in that. Very basic role, but I thought he executed it well. And you know how sometimes when it comes to acting, right, like for awards, sometimes your character was just not built to win an award. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's most of the time. Yeah,
like for example in The Dark Knight, like I remember reading somewhere that the role Christian Bale played was like Bruce Wayne, like it was to set up the contrasting character for the Joker. So where the Joker was like super crazy, and that's why he was like so high, like Heath Ledger's performance so highly acclaimed, because it's so out there. He was so into the role. It was so convincing that he was like, crazy. And that led to like all these news pieces that playing the Joker is a real dark character. That's one of the reasons why he killed himself, even though that was refuted by a lot of the people.
Yeah, I don't know how much I buy that sort of stuff.
I don't buy that as well. You should, like, a really good interview was Michael J. White, who was in it. He was one of the small cameo roles, and he said like he gets pissed off when people say it's that. He said people weren't even there in the filming process, and they speculate this, like, this type pieces of shit, like type of stories. He's saying he was fine. It's just that people don't understand these things. So I think that was very interesting. But yeah, I think I've liked all the Jokers so far, even from the first. I didn't watch the Adam West Batman's Joker. The one where like Robin is super lame, where he says like, "Holy smokes, Batman!" I
mean, that shit was all before our time.
Yeah, that was exactly. But I've seen clips of it just to compare, and I thought that was like it was still done pretty well. The laugh was really good. There are a lot of there are a lot of articles like bigging up that Batman being like the first of its kind of thing. It was the first of its kind, but like being bringing light to the comics. It's considered a classic in the movie world. I thought Jack Nicholson's Batman in the Michael Keaton movie, I thought that was great. That movie used to freak the shit out of me. Jack Nicholson performed amazing, like always. I think he's a great actor. Then, do you used to watch the animated series Batman? Because that used to be on TV.
Yeah, I remember watching that as a kid. I remember thinking like that was really good.
Like when you think of the Joker, I thought the first one that always pops in my head is Mark Hamill's voice.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that. I mean, the animated series I thought was good. I remember watching that as a kid. And I distinctly remember thinking like this is this was quite different from all the other sort of like cartoons.
Yeah, it was.
Because it was a bit more, how to say,
adulty. It was a bit more adulty.
Yeah. Like not like to some super extent. Like it was still a kids show, but yeah, it definitely was a bit more, a bit more mature.
Yeah. Then after Mark Hamill came Heath Ledger, which was also another like revolutionary, like they call it the like.
I don't think we need to go through the entire list.
Yeah, but I mean,
has played the Joker, but
great. All of them been great. All of the Jokers have been great. Like even Zach Galifianakis one in the cartoon Joker, I thought he was funny.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I mean that all Jokers have been great because I haven't seen all the Jokers, and I don't remember them anyway. But
okay, most of them.
But yeah, I think there's also like people are a bit because apparently there's like 4 other Joker movies in the works right now. So there's going to be like 5 Joker movies in the next 2 years or something. Oh, and people are like, man, like there's just way too many Joker movies, man.
They keep milking this shit out, man. It's getting annoying.
Yeah. Like, because there's gonna be there's this one, Joaquin Phoenix one, and then there's gonna be a Jared Leto one, which is sort of like coming off of Suicide Squad, and there's gonna be another one which is like there's this one in development which is going to be like another Jared Leto Joker but with Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie Harley Quinn, so also another spin-off of Suicide Squad, and then there's going to be one more, I can't remember what it was, but yeah, like
okay, I think
there's going to be a lot of Joker movies pretty much.
A good question would be, do you think there'll be yeah, I know, but do you think there'll be a good question is, do you think there'll be a superhero movie bust, like as in like the bubble will finally bust and people will like be like, enough is enough.
Have been already, right? Like, I mean, I guess it depends on your definition of bust, right?
As in, like, I mean, like the bubble will break and it will no longer be like a high demand for it. Like the way I'm looking at this final Avengers movie. Like after this Avengers movie come out, I'm gonna be like, I'm done dusted with like all these like superhero movies. Like I'm actually tired.
Yeah, until the next one comes out, right?
No, I don't watch all of them. I actually stopped, like, ever since Avengers 1. That's when I don't watch most of them anymore. Like, I would watch, like, the latest Avengers movie, and I watched Captain Marvel because it was, like, finally a female leading hero, and I really enjoyed Wonder Woman. Then I didn't watch Aquaman and all this nonsense.
Hold on. When you say finally a female leading hero, and then you mentioned Wonder Woman as well. It's like
no. I mean, it's like a new story, right? Where it's like I'm just I'm trying to be an ally, all right? Just let me be an ally.
Yeah. But sorry, the other thing that I think that people are skeptical of Joker is because it's DC.
DC been fucking.
I think DC have been, people have been upset with the way that DC movies that come out. I think the biggest hit they had was Wonder Woman, as you mentioned. Yeah. That's what I thought of it. And then all the other ones have been like disappointing, people say.
I think I didn't watch Aquaman, but people say that's pretty okay. So I think they're starting to improve. But I mean, after watching the Justice League movie, the only way was up from there. So who knows? But I think. I don't know. I like to see how the market for these movies turned out, like in the coming years when they keep just releasing superhero movies. I don't know how.
And I mean, I think the difference now though is that the way that things are being done, like what they're doing, the strategy is very different. So, and I think when we talk about that, we're really talking about the MCU. Which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that in itself is a story, all on its own.
Universe.
Yeah, and all of it is, the intention is to capitalize primarily on the hardcore fans, right? And the fans who are into the comic books and into all this and into all that, And this is just another parallel story to the comic book storylines, all the many storylines they have in the comic books. So I think that's quite smart. Obviously, it's all hindsight, but it's quite smart. It's quite smart strategy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I share with you this idea of like, at some point people are gonna get tired of this shit, man.
Yeah.
It's like, and I also hate the fact that they keep rebooting and rebooting and rebooting and rebooting.
Yes, exactly.
Like, in my life, there's already been like 4 reboots of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't feel like enough time has passed for there to be so many Spider-Man.
I feel you, man. I feel you. Like they're trying to milk this shit dry, but then again, like
even Batman, there's been like a few Batmans now. It's like I don't feel enough time has passed for there to be like so many Batmans.
Like your parents' Batman would have been like you thought it would be like your parents' Batman would have been like the Michael Keaton Batman. And then like you thought there weren't reboots because like the Batmans from 1 to 4 were considered the same group because they had the same actor for Alfred. So it was like kind of the same thing, but they just changed the Batman actor, but it was kind of the same.
Yeah, so it's different Batman.
It was the same canon. And then yours would have been the Dark Knight trilogy, but you've been given like new Batmans straight away. So it's a bit too quick. Like I agree with you, it's too quick.
I mean, but when I say like, it's not just the actors, but it's like the story, right? So like, the earliest Batmans that I remember is the like Val Kilmer Batman, George Clooney Batman, then George Clooney Batman, and then there's obviously the Dark Knight Batman, and then all of a sudden there's Ben Affleck. It's like. And then now there's gonna be like a new one. It's like it's being rebooted again. It's like, yo man, there's only so many times I can see Bruce Wayne's like parents die. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like
we know his parents died, man. Like
exactly. Like oh my, I agree with you. Like the story, but there's this argument that that okay. I mean, not argument. I think there's a credit that needs to be given to the MCU for creating this universe that everyone's so invested in. I think like one of the universes that probably inspired them was probably like something like Harry Potter or maybe even Lord of the Rings, where they saw that.
I think it's the opposite, actually. I think. I mean, I don't know how much inspiration they take from that because I think they're just building off their like what they know and their core competency in Marvel, which is the comic books, right? Actually, because the whole idea of the MCU, right, as a money making idea is great, right? In the sense that every 5 years or whatever, or every 3 or 4 years or whatever the time frame is, they're gonna have like an Avengers movie. Or a movie where it gets like a band of superheroes together, and in the lead up to that movie, they have all these the movies for all the individual heroes who are going to be in that movie, right? And everything's connected, right?
Yeah.
Because they've got the movies, they've got the movies with the movies and the TV shows, right? Mm. So it's all just like
a world.
It's a whole like symbiotic relationship,
Yeah.
So even like come on, man, like movies like Batman, like Ant-Man and like Doctor Strange and all that, like no one gives a shit about these people, man. Like no one gives a shit about them.
People do,
just because.
Sorry. Not us. Not. I mean, I don't give a shit about them, but I know people who do. It's like, dude, it's a Marvel movie, dude. Then like people are like,
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. But that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like no one gives a shit about them except for the fact that it's part of the MCU. That's it. Like, no one gives a shit. Like, like who the hell is Ant-Man? Like, who the hell is Doctor Strange? Like, unless you're like a hardcore comic book fan, you have no idea, right? Exactly. You don't care. But just because they're gonna be part of MCU, then you care, right? So it's that it's that symbiotic relationship where the movies feed off each other, and the popularity of each movie helps the other movie.
Yeah, true. One question though: do you think people will watch a Nick Fury movie?
I mean, I would.
You would?
Yeah, just make it Nick Fury on a plane with snakes.
Yeah, Denzel is no, sorry, what Denzel? Holy fuck, Samuel.
That's racist, man. That's racist, man.
Samuel L. Jackson is killing it, man. He's killing it. He did really well in Captain Marvel. He was really funny.
I mean, Denzel's doing well as well.
Denzel's doing well. I watched The Magnificent
Because
Seven.
they're different people.
I know they are different people. I just made a mistake. Slip of the tongue, no fault of the mind. Anyways, shall we move on to the last topic? Anyways, we're keen. I'm keen to watch the movie. I'll let you know if it's good and if it's worthwhile of your time. But I think it'll be a great movie. Shout out Joaquin. Anyways, let's close out this episode with what I think is the most fire song of 2019 so far. For those who don't know, there's this song that has been popping up on Instagram in the NBA realm and the NCAA realm, and it's this song by Lil Nas X called Old Town Road. Have you listened to the song yet, Justin?
I might have heard it.
What do you think? Hit?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's a hit. I mean, it's a good song. Like, it's got a good beat.
It's a really good song, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, what do you think of like the controversy? Okay, when you first heard it, what genre do you think that song was?
I can tell you what genre I didn't think it was.
What?
Country.
You really didn't think it was country from the start?
Yo, just because they have like, you know, they talk about riding horses in the chorus
No,
does not
even
mean that the
even-
song is country.
No, the start of the song was like, you know, it was singing. It wasn't like hip hop at the start.
Yeah, but it's like, all right. So I didn't know about
Play the song.
this whole controversy before you mentioned it, right? But like,
Can you hear the song?
I mean, I don't need you to play it for me. I don't. You can put it in post production if you want.
Okay,
But it's
fine.
sort of like, you know, in that case, like yeah, I didn't think it was a country song. Put that, like, to put it simply, like I wouldn't categorize it as a country song because I don't think,
Yeah.
I don't think the intention was for it to be a country song either. I think it's just a song.
True. It was just a like, you know, a fun song you just make and drop it on the internet.
Yeah.
So even the guy didn't make a big deal out of it. I just wanted to know what you think the song was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's. I mean, if you wanted me to categorize it in a genre, I wouldn't categorize it as country. But
I think it'll be
you know,
outside.
I understand that the lines are blurred these days. But
Yeah,
but you know,
it's pop. I'll just say it's pop.
yeah, I mean, I think it's more pop hip hop more than country because I mean, you can think of like you know that BB Rexa song, what's it called, Meant to Be. Is that considered country? Because that sounds pretty country to me.
No, I don't know what that BB Rexa song is.
Yeah, because that one was like mainstream, right? That was a mainstream. That was played on like, you know, top 40 radio and stuff, right? To me, that sounds country, right?
Okay.
Like country is like things like, you know, and maybe because I don't know much about country music, but you know,
Oh,
things
actually, you do. You just don't realize it. Because I was about to bring up a serial country award-winning artist that you in the past, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and a big deal was made when she announced that she was leaving country music to become a pop star.
Yeah. So was like Music a Love Story, was that considered country? She won awards for that. And was it, I just wanted to know, was that country?
I don't think so. I think like at the time, like like that first album that most people know, like was not a quote unquote country album anymore. Because but then I don't know, like the stuff like Teardrops on My Guitar stuff, which I don't know, sounds like to me like country music sounds like, you know, like Carrie Underwood, like Jesus Take the Wheel, you know, like that's all shit.
Yeah, Take the Wheel, Take Me Back to Tennessee, all that shit, like Old Country Road.
Yeah.
You know?
So yeah, you know, whereas you know, and Taylor Swift's transition from country to pop was very like, you know, it wasn't, how to say, it was a very conscious decision. You know what I mean? In fact, it was like she spoke about it a lot. It was announced. You know, it wasn't just like, you know, it didn't happen sort of like
organically, where she just started.
Yeah. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just making my music and then people can categorize however they want to categorize it. You know, Like there was
Yeah.
a very clear like I'm moving from country to pop.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the people are talking about like, how like, it got kicked off the country charts, it would have been number one by now. But then again, it's like it's so popular that it will take care of itself. It's like I think it's a hit. I think it's a great song. Do you listen to the one with Billy Ray Cyrus on it? Billy Ray Cyrus jumped on the track, and they have an like official remix right now, and it's on like Apple Music, Spotify, and so on.
Yeah, but it's just like that's just whatever. He's just trying to get a bit of publicity for himself and stuff.
Yo, dude, the remix is really good. It's fire.
I mean, because if you think about like the beat and the timings and I don't really know how to explain it, but it does not sound country. Like
No. I
you know what I mean?
No, if someone said it was like it was a blend of like I wouldn't say it's pure country, but you definitely have to like I think I would say that this sounds like a cross genre between country and rap, which is what they're calling it. They're calling it country trap or trap.
Yeah, but it's sort of like but a lot of music takes influences from a lot of other things, right? Like
So
for example, like would you say things like Kanye West Runaway? Would you say like, oh man, that should be at the top of the EDM charts?
Of course not.
Yeah, because just because he uses a drum machine, right, doesn't mean that it should be,
Yeah,
in
I think that's not the best example, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's not the best example, but
I know I know exactly.
But you know what I mean, right? You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, of course, I know what I mean. Yeah, it's like
like Yandi is not going to the top of like the
gospel.
Or the African music charts,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I totally get what you mean. So it's but anyways, this genre thing, I think is like I think we raised it up. Like it's so hard to do. Like the lines are blurred these days. Is there even any point? You just say does it slap or does it not? I think the song slaps. Yeah. I can't wait.
I think an interesting question is like, what is there a need for genres? Like, what is the purpose of a music genre these days?
Exactly. I think you could I think general genres are good enough, but like I don't know. Actually,
I mean, general genres like country and pop are pretty general, and that's what we're arguing here.
Yeah. No, I think this is when it comes to charts, it comes to a point where it's competition, money, awards, prestige. I think.
Yeah, but how does the genre fit into it?
No, I think the genre thing, it helps differentiate, right? Because they want to give many awards, right? They have awards for each categories. So, I think it matters to these musicians, right? Like they want to win something. It doesn't matter for me.
So it's just purely for that?
Yeah, I think it's more for that than for like you see, we're like talking about this, and I'm just going like, do we really need to argue about this? I think this, or do we really even need to talk about it? Yeah, I think the most important thing is like, do you think it's a good song? Yeah, I think it's a good song. If you want to get into what kind of music you think it is, if you ask me, I think it's a mix of country and trap. And then if you say, oh, I think it's pop, I wouldn't disagree with you. I can see where you're coming from. It's not like
but the controversy is surrounding should it chart on the country charts, right? Yeah,
I mean, if it's for me, like I think there are reasons where you could say I agree with what has happened if it didn't chart. But if it was charted, I wouldn't be like, I'm indifferent. Sorry, I'm trying to be clear. I'm indifferent. Like there are reasons for that. I think it should be on, and there are reasons where it shouldn't be. Like where it doesn't really fit. Like I can see it being country.
Yeah. But then the natural question becomes like, does it matter what genre it charts on, right?
Oh no, I don't think so, right? Like I mean,
and then the natural question to that, right? The next step to that is that if it doesn't matter, then why is there even different charts for different genres? Like, why do different genres even exist? Because what you're saying is that like all that should matter is that if it's a banger or it's not a banger. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
So what is the reason that different genres even exist? Shouldn't a genre just be two genres? Banger, post op, no banger, post op. Those are two genres. That's it.
I don't know. Oh, that's tough. That's actually a very good question.
Like these are just like natural questions, you know, that
Yeah,
come.
I know.
Natural progression
So,
of question, right?
I think, actually, okay. Now thinking about it, I think thinking about it more clearly and putting more time in. I think having these genres, I think, are good in a sense where, like, for example, you like a specific type of song. Like, I think that these charts help you, figure out like this specific type of genre. But this is for people who are really into music, because there's some people who don't care. Right? You just go like play whatever. I like
don't
it.
care. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it matters.
I am a banger, not banger sort of guy. Like I don't care. Like
Becoming more of that. But like, for example, sometimes when I want to arrange some music for someone, I'll be like, oh, you like this type of music, so I'll go to the charts and listen to it. So that's quite helpful. But I think this like these award things where like, why don't you just go like banger or non-banger? I think that's more for the artist than it is. It's more for artists and people who really care about music.
I don't know about that. Like, I asked the question not because I have the answers, but I asked the question because I think that there's a reason. And I don't think the reason is so like, oh, it's so we can give recognition to the artist. I don't think that's right. I think the answer it has something to do with money. I don't know what it is, but it's something to do with money.
Yeah, no, it probably is. Yeah. Because if you chart higher on like for example, if you're like a country song and you're not like mainstream right now, right? Surely, if you chart higher on the country billboards, you get a bit more money. Whereas
it's something to do with money, and whatever it involves, people that control the music industry. So record executives, record labels, like those people. I haven't taken the time to think of like what it is, like the whole connection yet, but my suspicion is that it lies there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's like, yeah, it's probably something to do with like, I need my even though this music is not popular, I need my money and I need my recognition. I think, yeah, this is a tough one. Anyways, I think we're both like banger, non-banger type person, right?
I mean, yeah, and like my taste in music has changed a lot as well over my whole life. So
fair enough.
Like these days, I listen to a lot of lo-fi hip hop. So a lot of
what's the famous YouTube channel? I can't remember. The
beats to study /chill to or something like that.
Yes, that one.
Yeah. Okay. I listen to a lot of that stuff. It's because like as you get older, I think like you don't really sit down and listen to music anymore. Like music is more of a complement to what you're doing at the time rather than the main focus of what you're doing at the time.
Motherfucker, that's what I said last time, and you were like, "No, people don't sit down and listen to music." I was like, "I do."
Yeah, I don't think people. I mean, as you get older, I don't think people sit down and like listen to music.
Yeah, true. Okay, maybe. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, but I'm still consistent with that. Like, I still think that
music is very like music is consumed very differently from now compared to back then. That's what I think. But anyways, let's just end with: do you certify Old Town Road as a banger, and are you gonna put it on your playlist?
Well, it's not on my playlist.
Justice Fire playlist, huh?
Well, it's not on my playlist, but I mean, I think it's a banger. Like, put it this way. It's like if it came on, like in the club, will you get hype about it?
Oh,
and
fuck!
The answer is yes, right? And he says yes. Dude. So like no doubt yes, right? So yeah, it is.
Dude, if K-Box put it on, I'm gonna like go be like, guys, let's go to K-Box right now.
K-Box. I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of like rap songs or hip hop songs are very like bad at karaoke. But that's just me.
It's not a rap song. I got horses in the back. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Oh man, it's so like I could imagine when's the best time to play this. Imagine like we're playing like soccer and we like won a tournament. This would definitely be like the top of my list in terms of celebration song.
What? No. There's only one song you played, man.
We Are the Champions.
Yeah.
I think that song is so. I think it's such a weak song to play.
It's a classic, man. It's a classic. You can't go wrong with the classics.
Like it's not like you can't get hype. It's like it's like very low. Like it's like very like it doesn't get hyped. You're not like, jumping around singing.
What do you mean? Song. There's the whole build up before the chorus.
No, you're like singing together, but you're not like jumping. There's no physical energy. It's more of like that what do you call it? The excitement energy, which is different. Like there's other songs which you could have both, that physical energy and excitement energy.
I mean,
can you imagine?
I don't think you can go wrong with the classics. Like as the players are walking up to collect the trophy.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
We are the champions, man. Like.
No, in the locker room when you're like spraying champagne on each other.
Oh yeah. In the locker room, spraying. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Obviously, when you're like receiving the award, you can't. Like, it's not really songs like that, right? But what I'm talking about. The most important point is like Q 2016 NBA Finals. No, 2017 NBA Final Championship. Do you think LeBron James is not banging that we are the champions in the locker room when they're spraying champagne at each other?
I mean, I don't think anyone sort of bangs that in the locker room.
Yeah, that's what.
At most points in time, but yeah, I mean, we're talking about like different points in time. I'm talking about like as soon as the final whistle goes, like Germany have won the World Cup. Like they're not gonna play this shit.
Agreed. But we're playing this in the locker room.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I agree.
Playing this in the locker room.
Or some sick German rap.
Okay. All right. Anyways, let's close out this episode. Thank you for listening, guys. Good night.